Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I appreciate this is the last talk on this stage, so hopefully I won't keep you too long. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my journey, my background, and how hopefully my experiences can help you create opportunities in football. So a quick bit about me is that I'm a data analyst and scout for a Scottish club, so Hudl Midlothian. My background's in sports coaching. I've worked in the gambling industry for 6 years and essentially building an online portfolio transformed my career and got me to where I am today. So through posting work on Twitter, it then got me freelance opportunities, a part-time job, and then led me to my job today. So just for a bit of context, obviously we all know that the football world is very, very competitive. On average, there are 80 to 120 applicants for every single analysis role that is put on jobs for football. So that comes from them directly. Obviously, it might be slightly different elsewhere, but very competitive for every single role. And actually, when you look at that, that then gives you approximately a 1% chance of being successful in landing a role that you apply for. So a very, very competitive sport to land opportunities in. So not only do you have to apply for those jobs, you've then got to stand out versus all the other candidates in terms of a degree in education, your CV, a cover letter, your full application, a multiple stage interview process perhaps. You've then also got a professional task that you may have to do and present, get feedback on. So with that in mind, you can take two routes. So in terms of applying for jobs, there is the first way, the traditional way. People go on football careers, jobs for football, job websites, and apply for jobs through those with their CV. And with that, you hope that you can beat the other 120 applicants that are all going for the same roles. But with that, you're relying on your CV purely. The second action, I should say number 2 there, is to take action and to create an online portfolio. Take ownership on your own career by making yourself stand out, by learning new skills, showing those online, and getting feedback on your work. And then also growing your network. So the problem with the traditional way is that when you apply for jobs and go through the normal ways that you compete with everyone else, as I've just said, will the recruiter actually read your CV? If they're going through 120 CVs, will they skim read those? Does the club or hiring manager fully appreciate your technical skills and knowledge without seeing them? Do you properly get across, your level of coding or technical attributes, which is essential for the role? Again, you may interview better than some others. You may have good personal skills and could be able to get that across. But sometimes, people have off days. You might not interview very well, and a portfolio can help you showcase those. Will not having a relationship with a hiring manager impact your application? Obviously, football is a world full of contacts. A lot of people know everyone, and generally, if you're going for a role, there'll be other people that know the manager if you don't. And then also, do you have a network and a reputation? Again, it's about contacts and people understanding your skills. Again, if you want to go for a job, I'm sure someone will know someone who knows you and ask for a character reference. So you're leaving things to chance. And again, we mentioned you get a 1% approximate chance of landing every analysis role that you go for. You need to control more factors that you can with your application. Again, a visible CV through LinkedIn. It might be showing your knowledge online for a portfolio, demonstrating those technical skills that you have, creating a relationship with the hiring manager, if that's possible, and then growing an effective network and reputation. So the opportunity framework, and this is something I always bear in mind and sort of thought about in terms of my career, is that my opportunities have always come about through some element of my knowledge. I'd like to think I have some of that, as well as the connections and people that I know, and then also the online portfolio. By combining all of those together, you have the ability to control those factors and take control of your career. And that then essentially means that you're able to create your own look, or as in I create it, your opportunities. So your online portfolio is your own personal brand that's run on social media platforms. So what is it about? It's essentially demonstrating your professional presence online, building your brand within the football industry, creating a centralised hub for all your work. So if you've done various projects, can you keep them all in one nice place for people to be able to access and see? And then also facilitated networking and opportunities. And also, again, showcasing your skills and knowledge. So why social platforms? Should you not just have your own blog and website? Would it not be better on your own professional website? So the problem with that is that you don't have any organic reach. So unless you're sharing it with your friends, family, cats, dogs, aunties, uncles, they're not going to see your work if it's on a personal website, unless you already have a big following. So again, unless you've already got that audience and people are aware of you, you're not going to see your work if it's on a personal website. It could be quite hard to find online. It's a longer feedback loop as well. So if you're not able to put things out there quickly on social media, and it's behind a website that's harder to find, you're not going to then be able to develop, and your feedback loop is longer. Requires effort to maintain a website. You may have to spend time on creating it, designing logos, the cost of hosting a website perhaps. So yes, blogs and websites, they do have their own purposes and they are great. But remember, it's quicker and easier to get going on social platforms. They have algorithms that allow your work to be shared with the world, which I think is a really big positive from it. It's easy to get going, as I've said, which is the important thing. A lot of people's first steps are that they don't get started. And you get feedback almost instantly. You're able to connect with like-minded people. So if you're working with other analysts online or have seen their content and you're following them, then you get to learn from like-minded people, which is great. And also in that people in the industry get to see your skills, they get to see what you like without even meeting you. So again, that's how my opportunities came about, and the same thing can be said for a hell of a lot of other people as well. So social platforms quickly, Twitter, X, obviously it's quite a hot topic of conversation, but it's still a very big platform. 500 million users plus, 6 billion website visits a month. So again, it can be a great tool to use. Good for short and long form content and used by a lot of people who work in football. LinkedIn, 900 million users and over 1 billion web visits per month. Again, ideal for that short and long form content. And again, you're able to connect directly with people that work in football with their professional profiles. So there are other platforms, and again, I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter what you use. You just want to be finding a platform that you enjoy, that you can be consistent in sharing your knowledge and work. And then whether that's on Threads or Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you want to use, the whole point is that you want to get your work out there in a public sphere for them to be able to see your work. So it brings me to, what should I be posting on my online portfolio? I guess this might be a question that people have. And a lot of people think that you should be sort of posting content on the top 5 leagues. You might be able to go viral if you're posting about Manchester United's transfer policy, possibly. Potentially, you might get more engagement, and again, you might be able to appeal to a wider audience. So generally, that's why people think they should be posting about the top 5 leagues. But there are hundreds of other people doing it. And as a result, you won't get a meaningful audience, you won't build people who are generally interested in your work. And if your ultimate goal is to work in football, let's be honest, the head of recruitment at Manchester United or Man City or Arsenal is probably not looking for the next analyst on Twitter, but clubs in League One might be. So the overall goal of an online portfolio is that you want to create content that resonates with a specific audience rather than trying to reach everyone. So again, just to recap, you can post content out there in reach content terms that's for broader engagement, to get likes, to go viral and appeal to the masses, or you're able to create more resonance and meaningful content that is there to focus on a specific niche, allowing you to build those better connections with people who is actually interested in that work, and they're probably going to be the people that hire you. So just a little diagram here about a content spectrum. So reach being at one end and resonance being at another. A niche is there that creates more resonance content that gives you a greater chance of being spotted by people in the world of football. So my advice would be to try and target football outside of the top 5 leagues, again, because you're more likely to be scouted and headhunted by people in football outside of the big top clubs. So there is less work already shared within these levels. You get to build a meaningful audience, as I said. There's a higher likelihood that getting noticed by those clubs. And also, you get to focus on the levels of the game where, again, they probably don't have as many analysts at League One or League Two clubs as what they do at Premier League clubs. So you need access to data, and Statsbomb is a great source for that. They are very generous with a lot of their free data library that they put out there. So just some examples here that we'll run through. Being in the Super League, AFCON, Women's World Cup with 360 data, might I add. Copa America, the Invincibles from Arsenal and Leverkusen, and the European Championships as well. So let's talk about what sort of content you could perhaps create from those. So again, these are just ideas. I'm not saying anyone should go away and do this specifically. But again, there's a lot of different things you can access with free data that's online to be able to create content. So just some quick ideas here is playing style trends from the Indian Super League. What African players are playing for African club sides that should be moving to European leagues from the AFCON. What makes Pelé, Maradona and Cruyff so special? And then also sort of what standout players from smaller leagues, should be moving on from the European Championships. So they're just some ideas to get the juices flowing with Statsbomb's free data. Obviously, there are other free data sources out there online if you can get your hands on them as well. So quickly, we have short form, medium form, and long form content that you typically post on your portfolio. So your short form is there to regularly engage an audience, be active in the community, try and have an opinion on situations, and be visible daily. Again, that's how you build up that brand of being consistent. There you want to focus on your niche with perhaps data visuals and short form posts. Medium form content in the terms of trying to deliver more specific value within that area to people. Again, so that might be using threads or expanded posts on LinkedIn or shorter articles, again, to try and keep that attention engaged. And then long form content will be more about sort of what you want to be known for. So, for example, I did 2 recruitment documents on Nottingham Forest over 2 different summers, which were incredibly long, and I'm sure not many people at Forest actually read them, but other people in football did see them. So, again, you want to be able to demonstrate the skills that you want to be known for. And again, if you want to work in football, look at job descriptions and try and find the skills that you need to develop and create content to be able to showcase that you're learning and developing them as you go. Finally, I just want to talk a little about networking. It can be a cliche, but it also has the power to drive and push your career forwards. So the most people within a networking, especially when you're relatively new to the industry, is that you want to get something out of someone else, whether that be knowledge or time or help. But that can be sort of taken the wrong way, and a lot of people want to see what they can get out of the relationship. In actual fact, the best networks and the people that you're able to build a meaningful relationship with are those people that you think about them more. And sort of some other areas that people go wrong is sort of offering little value to other people, not remembering details, not effectively catching up with people, and essentially just thinking about what you get out of the relationship. But the best networks are those that you think about the other people, and they definitely want to you want to follow up with them. So networking advice, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm still very new to this and learning, but some of my sort of tips would be, be in the right places. I think you're off to a fantastic start by being at a conference like this. LinkedIn, X, conferences and courses are a great place to be in the right places. You need to build connections with people. Try and look at people who are maybe one step ahead of you. So say if you're currently looking for a role in analysis, might reach out to a first team analyst. And then you might also build a connection with people who are also at a similar stage to you are. Always warm the connection. Don't just immediately ask for help if you can help it. Obviously, sometimes, you need things urgently, but, really try to just get to know the person and warm them up. Build a personal rapport with them by asking about their background and their journey. Be a keen listener. Really take a notice of what it is that makes them them. And by doing that, you'll then be able to provide that person with value over time. Be that a job application that you've seen that might be interest to them. Equally, books and podcasts that you've listened to. It doesn't have to be you specifically helping them. Just going out of your way to make sure it seems like you thought of them is the best way. But just to recap, your network is not only defined by your connections, it's about the people that value and trust you, and focus on building relationships through meaningful connections and not just accumulating them. It doesn't matter if you have 1,500 million connections on LinkedIn, it's about the people who actually want to know and trust you. So finally, let's just recap. To secure on in football, you need to excel in many different areas of your application and outperform, obviously, hundreds of candidates going for those same roles. You want to increase your odds of landing analysis roles by building your online portfolio and remembering the opportunity network, which is your knowledge and your connections and your portfolio will get you opportunities in football. Create or update your social media account, X, LinkedIn, whatever you tend to use or would like to use. Get it updated. There's no reason to have a LinkedIn account with no posts on it. Focus your portfolio content outside of the top 5 leagues if you can help it. Again, I appreciate data can be hard to come by at times, but Statsbomb, again, they've got a free library of some interest in football. Utilize Statsbomb's free data. And then, generate specific football questions that want to be answered by head coaches or sporting directors. What is it that they need to know, and try and answer questions that are almost a case study to that. And then don't think about networking, provide value and think of the other person. So that's all for my presentation today. We've got a bit of time for questions, I believe.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was just wanting to ask, when you were talking about what to post on these social media accounts, I'm starting to build my social media account by posting like match predictions, what I think will happen. Is that kind of the thing that attracts, football employers, or should it go more in depth about teams?
Yeah, so I think it just depends entirely on your goals and what it is that you want to achieve. If you are wanting to go down more of a modelling route, then absolutely, I think that is interesting. I think with that you might probably attract a little bit more attention from the gambling industry in general, perhaps more with match predictions. If you want to work in recruitment, you might then want to start looking at sort of player performance and evaluations, or either developing your own sort of rating system for players. That's how I started. Equally, if it's performance analysis you want to work in, can you do reports on, again, as you mentioned there, specific teams or playing styles across leagues? Just be more specific to either a league or a team would be my advice if you want to work in football. But if you know there's an area that you specifically want to work in, then absolutely share that online.
Okay, thank you.